My name is Jeannie Bale, and I'm a librarian at the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton, Canada, and a member of the IFLA Management and Marketing Standing Committee, also known as M&M, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary. In honor of this milestone birthday, the committee is interviewing several of our past M&M members who have made significant contributions through their work in support of the related areas of management and marketing. Just want to say a special thanks to the management and marketing team, especially the 25th anniversary working group, the library history special interest group and its oral history team, and the continuing professional development and workplace learning podcast team, especially Raypon for inspiration and advice. Today, we're fortunate to have Catharina Isberg, M&M member and library director of the Lund Public Library in Sweden, interviewing Christina Tovoté, one of the founding members of the Management and Marketing Standing Committee. They are joining us today from Lund.
Hello, my name is Catharina Isberg and I'm sitting here with Christina Tovoté. I am the library director of Lund Public Library and I'm also part of the Management and Marketing section, the IFLA Management and Marketing section. And today I'm delighted to welcome Christina here, actually in my office in Lund. And she is a really special guest to this podcast interview series. Christina is actually one of the founders of the section, and she has really been important for what we are doing today, for the work that we are carrying out today in the section. And therefore, we invited Christina to be part of this 25 years of anniversary celebration that we are doing within management and marketing. So welcome, Christina.
Thank you, Catharina. It's a real honor to be here, and it's fantastic to sit here and talk to you all.
But just from the start, how did you get involved in the library work relating to marketing?
To public relations and marketing. Yes, I started as a public librarian in Lund, like you. No, but here, where
Actually
we are
here.
now, yes. And that's a long time ago. And I always aimed at being a public relation librarian. I tried to apply for those positions, and finally I managed to do that. So I started as a public relation librarian in Lund City Library, in charge of all the programs, of course, and all the information about the library. And then I was also from the start very involved in the Swedish Library Association, where I was the secretary, I believe, or the chair sometimes of the we call it Committee of Public Relation and Information, the PR committee, exactly. And as such, I was very much involved in the Swedish different library public relations and information. And to come to IFLA, it started when the IFLA was in Stockholm in 1990. And we could apply as volunteers, we librarians, and I did, and I was there. And I saw the big giant IFLA with all its formality and so on, and lots of people. And I thought, maybe is this something for me? But it was so fun. And then after Stockholm 1990, we who were volunteers, we could apply to go to as a kind of grant. We could go to Moscow the next year, 91, and that, as you all know, was a very special conference at the same time as the state coup. But after that, so IFLA started for me like that, and then I went to Barcelona, I think, the year after, and there I met the first persons who I tried to promote using marketing in libraries with, and it started with me, this is fantastic. I just put up a tiny little piece of paper on the billboard of the conference in Barcelona saying, are you interested in marketing libraries? Please come to this and that room at that time. And 10 persons came, and among them were Marielle de Miribel from France.
This is really history of IFLA and of management and marketing. This is exciting.
And it's so fantastic that it started with this little piece of paper.
Yeah, and for me, it is fantastic to hear that you started actually in Lund, where I am now. So it kind of ties the ends together.
Yeah, it does. And then it went on.
Yes.
It continued with Marielle and me discussing what shall we do, and we at that time we belonged to the round table of management. It was called at that time. And then
but was that round table already there?
Yes, it was.
Yes. So you added marketing to that.
We tried to.
Okay.
And it was not easy, I should say, because marketing in the world of IFLA at that time, it was not, they didn't talk a lot about that. IFLA was, I don't think it's the same today, but it was very serious at the time. And the people who worked in IFLA, they were so formal and serious. And I remember a Danish colleague who said to me, I tried to launch the word marketing in my group, and they looked at me if I had said something very inappropriate because it only belonged to the commercial world at the time. It was not much talking about that in the library world. But we tried, Marielle and me, and we said to each other we had to start with the program, and that the first program where we had presentations ourselves was in Istanbul, where Marielle had invited Réjean Savard. She knew her. She knew him at that time, and she invited him. And
which year was it?
It was 95.
Okay.
Yes. So we had some years in preparing all this. So 95 it started, but only as a part of the round table of management at that time. Yeah.
That's really history. Exciting. How has this had impact on you and your career?
Oh, I should say it has made all the difference. It has been such a fantastic journey to be part of the library world, the whole library world, and to make all these both friendships and acquaintances and people, all the people you meet, and all the programs we made. We made a lot of programs when we started. After Istanbul, there was the IFLA governing board. We established us as a section in Bangkok. 97 as we
97.
celebrated. Yes, and after that we had that. Those years were really vibrant, and a lot of fantastic meetings and pre-conferences. We used to have pre-conferences every year before and sometimes after the big IFLA conference. And I think it was in Glasgow. It was both before and after a pre-conference. And in those smaller meetings, I think those are those are more interesting than the big ones. The big ones,
the satellite conferences.
The satellite conferences, because you meet, and we tried to make them more practical. At least some of them. Some of them were also very scientifically oriented. But some of them were really practical with the small workshops and participation of a smaller amount of people, of course. So it was easier to work in those opportunities in the satellite meetings. And we also, we also had used to have, it was a tradition with a mid-year meeting, where we discussed what we should do, and it was very practical also. We had our different responsibilities for different proceedings and so on. So midterm meetings and satellite meetings, and of course the big IFLA conferences. But the whole thing, you asked if I had this impact on my own career.
Yes.
Of course I had, because I should say that I changed from public PR and marketing already in Glasgow. I was at the time I was a university librarian.
And now we are at
the year 2002.
Yes.
Now,
For us who didn't join Glasgow, it's good to have the year.
Oh, okay, yes. And so I applied for a position in the information literacy section instead.
Okay.
But I couldn't leave the marketing. I leave the section, but I went over to the information literacy section, and there I started to use information literacy as a very important thing to promote libraries with. I did that all the time. And especially in the universities at the time, it was such a good thing to use as a tool for marketing. You need to know your library, you need to know your librarians, and they should be visible in the university and so on. It was not easy in the world of universities, but we tried, and I tried. And so I have always had this marketing preference to use. To use in my career. And I also started in the Nordic countries. I started something called Nord Infolit. Okay. I don't know if you've heard about it. It was it started under Nordinfo, the association Nordinfo, and we had a summer school for librarians every summer. And of course, that was a lot of marketing in these summer schools too. And we also had a big conference every second year called Creating Knowledge. So I used really my knowledge in marketing in all those. And also, and even when I retired, I couldn't stop working. So and also the Swedish Library Association asked me, what shall we do with your big network that you have created all over the world? And we used that, and I started to work in a project called Stronger Together with the Kenya Library Association.
And that was also part of the IFLA work of building stronger library associations.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Swedish Library Association and the Kenya
worked together in the project, and it's still going. I think it's changed to Next Frontier, a new name of the project, and it was really fantastic. And marketing in those countries, in the African countries, it's something else, because they have an advantage in that they knew their politicians much better than we do in Sweden.
That's interesting.
So we used that, of course, to market the importance of the libraries in Kenya to the politicians, to change laws and also the laws of the profession and so on.
So that was really marketing tied to advocacy.
Exactly, yes. So yes, my career has started with IFLA and continued in.
So IFLA has been important for your career.
Absolutely.
But if you look at different projects, different work that you have been doing, I can imagine that a lot of it has been really a success. But then sometimes you mentioned IFLA is really huge, and you have all these different cultures and different traditions that are melted together, and you try to do something from it, and sometimes you don't succeed in the projects.
I know that you have that question too, and I have thought about it, but I couldn't point out something special that had been a flop. No, maybe we had some smaller, but I don't remember them. They are gone.
They are all gone.
Yes,
that's
it
good.
was. I mean, it was in the first years. It was such a success. The membership grew and grew and grew, and also our programs. We had to reject people in the doorways because they wanted to come into our programs, and also many other sections wanted really to cooperate with us, making programs together. So we didn't do it ourselves mostly.
And I also think that what you are mentioning here is really the success of the work of IFLA, that we have been, many of us has really been trying to change the way that different meetings are run and sessions are run and so on, to get them more inclusive and more really important for the daily work.
Exactly. Yes, and that is another question. How do young people today? How can they get involved and do the same journey as I had? I think starting small is the best thing. Starting with the Swedish Library Association, starting with some colleagues that are like you are active in IFLA, and also of course try to participate. But I think today it must be much easier because we have this digital opportunity to communicate and to participate also. But the personal meetings in reality, they are also very important. But of course, as a flop, but as some disadvantage is that big size of IFLA. It is not easy, and as I said, we tried many years before we got into it and could change a bit of it, and you shouldn't give up. It's and work in those smaller groups and come to the meetings. If you come to a conference, come to the meetings and ask questions and try that way. And when we are talking about these conferences, I really think that IFLA should help young people to be able to come and attend, because it's so expensive, and I think they used to have some grants that students or scholarships that students could apply for, and I think that is very important for IFLA to help the younger librarians.
Yeah, and I would say that is also something for the local, the national associations to really have grants for new people, new attendees, and new IFLA
exactly.
volunteers. I have been thinking a little bit about management and marketing, and you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, why was it combined?
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yes, that is a big discussion. We were not. It was not obvious from the beginning that we should do that, but we thought it. In a way, you can say that if you think that marketing is an important issue, you should put it under the management roof, so to say, because otherwise. You can use marketing to lead your library, to direct your library in the way you want, and that's why I think it belongs to management. But for me, management has been the other side of it, and I'm not very skilled in management. I have been chief information officer, and I have been in charge of big issues as the user education in Stockholm University. But I have never been a manager, so that is the other part of it. But I think it's important to. But sometimes you can say why it should be two different topics. To form a section around. I don't know. What do you think? To ask you.
Now I got a question.
You are a manager.
Yes, I'm a manager, and I really think that marketing is key and advocacy, and it's really part of the management work. But I also see marketing as a professional area, and as a manager, I'm not expert in that. And as I have been part of this section for 4 years, I really think that we can give each other a lot But I can also see that we can give each other a lot with other topics. And you mentioned, for example, information literacy.
Yes, exactly. You could as well have a section called marketing and information literacy and so on, or management. But management is such a special topic that should have its own section, maybe.
Maybe, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Because I've grown into that. It's good that those are together. We can really get good synergies from it.
And during the history of this section, we always discussed that, because we were discussing, should we put more effort on the management part of it, or the marketing? And we, Marielle, Rechan, and me, we were very much marketing persons, marketing experts as the years went by. But we always said we have to do something for the management part of the section, and we tried to have special pre-conferences only for management. So it was important for us to do both.
I can see that we are still struggling with those. We need to do with both of the work, but I think that we are really handling it and we have great officers that are really looking into that we should work with it.
But of course, you're right. Marketing is such a specialist thing. So we really had this very fantastic workshops and so on the tools of marketing, and we also launched a glossary of marketing words and so on, expressions. So we really tried to make the library world acquainted with what is real marketing and what is the difference between a goal and an objective and all those things. So we tried to make the librarian a professional marketing person.
And now we also have the IFLA Press Reader Marketing Award, the yearly award.
Yes. It started in Glasgow, I think, 2002. Yes, and it was two of the first participants in the section, John Barry and Alice Barry, and they launched the idea. I don't remember exactly. I think it was in Boston.
Okay.
And John Barry, who was a former chair of the ALA, American Library Association, he had contacts with the 3M, the company, so they supported us, and it was fantastic to have this opportunity to launch this worldwide award for libraries. And I think the first library who got an award was Houston Public Library, as far as I remember. Yes. And every midterm or mid-year meeting, the standing committee of M&M got the applications for this award and went through them and so on. So and worked with who is the best and so on. So it was fantastic, and it still is.
That's incredible to hear.
Yeah.
I know that you participated in Dublin.
This summer, yes, I did.
Last summer. And do you have any reflections? What did you see? I mean, it has really happened a lot.
Yes, it has. I think the biggest, the greatest difference is the digital opportunities. Since my time and or the first time and now, I think that must be a very big difference. Did I see? Yes, it was very big as usual and a lot of people, but I also saw those small fantastic meetings with people, and I know that Christy Kuntz, who is one of the first officers also in the M&M, she met with the Kenyan people in Dublin, and they all of course almost directly invited her to come to Kenya and give a course there. So those things happen, and that is the fantastic thing about IFLA, I think, the meetings beside all these official things. I think it's fantastic, and it was the same feeling in Dublin too, although I was angry with the prices of entering to come just for one day. It was like 2,000 or journeys
Yes.
to Dublin
Yeah.
to go there. So that's why I want to say that IFLA should really make young people or maybe retired if they have something to provide. They should make it easier.
Easier.
Yes. And cheaper.
That's really something
Yeah.
that we need to work
Yes, I
with.
think they should discuss it.
Yes. Do you have any story that you think that you really would like to share?
No, I think I have shared the very special story of the paper on the billboard. I think that was my contribution to IFLA, that I started the whole thing that has grown so big now and is this fantastic network all over the world with marketing libraries. No, I don't have I have many small stories, of course, from all the.
Yeah, but choose one of those.
No, I can't. I can't remember one. It's so difficult to just remember one. But we had fantastic times all the time. Yes.
So it all started with a small note on a billboard.
Exactly.
And you can now have heard what you can do from that.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
I look at I have put some keywords down on the paper as the answer on the question, and I see I will see what I have written down on that question you just put. Do you have some special feeling about it all? And I have written down the feeling of one great library world. It's fantastic, and it's the feeling that survives everything. The people, the friends, the network, the vibrant friendships and atmosphere, and also the understanding, the mutual understanding in a very complicated world. I think that is the biggest.
And that's extremely important today.
More and more so.
Yes.
And I would say I used to say that information literacy. I don't know if I can say this in this interview, but I think Trump did something for the information literacy question, because he launched the world fake news, and that is all that's why you should be information literate, and the libraries have a lot to do with that. So I think something can be used also from very bad things.
Yeah, that's a good way to see it also, that library has really, and I also think that the pandemic has really made library more visible, and
yes, that's true.
It was an incredible difficult time, and we lost a lot of people and loved ones around the world, but it really helped libraries to be more visible and more important, I would say.
And also all the things that happens today in the different countries, it puts light on the importance of libraries.
Yes,
very much. I think.
Yeah, and the Swedish Library Association has borrowed its Instagram social media account to Ukrainian Library Association, and there we have also seen what libraries can do during these really, really difficult times. And that's a lot of marketing, I would say.
Yeah,
as well.
It is.
So marketing is not only in the bright and easy times. It might also be more important in difficult times.
Yes, exactly. I couldn't agree more.
And they really need the skills, but you also need that international network, as you
said. And it's so easy to get that network. It is. I think it's easier today with the digital possibilities. So, but yes.
Do you have any other
keywords
that you don't want to miss out?
No, I don't think so. I just no. I don't have anything else to say about the whole fantastic thing.
So the most important is that take the chance and really
for the young ones, absolutely, and also that our profession, I don't think many people think about our profession as a vibrant and like that international profession, but it is. I think we should look upon it as that, and I urge you young librarians to look upon our profession as fantastic and international and very, very important profession that we have to promote all the time.
So in small context or in a larger context like IFLA, take the chance, put that note on the billboard and be there. I really think that we have seen a great example of taking the opportunities and making the best of the opportunities, and also really to build IFLA from the ground. And it has been so great to listen to you, Christina, and to hear the history and the background of management and marketing. And we will continue with our 25th anniversary, and I hope that there will be many anniversaries after this.
And good luck to you all. Good luck to the M&M. Go on. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Catharina.
And thank you for listening to us. We say goodbye from Lund, Sweden.
Goodbye.